the pigs.
Old Major was 12 years old and had grown rather stout, but was still a majestic-looking pig with a wise and benevolent appearance.
Comrades, I do not think that I will be with you for very much longer, and I feel it is my duty to pass on the wisdom that I have acquired. Now, what is the nature of this life of ours? We are born and given just enough food as to keep the breath in our bodies. And then those of us that are capable are set to work to within the very last atom of our strength. And when we lose that strength, we are slaughtered with hideous cruelty. To this end, all must come. Cows, pigs, hens, sheep, all. But is this simply part of life? No. This single farm of ours would support a dozen horses, 20 cows, hundreds of sheep, all living in a comfort and dignity that is now almost beyond our imagining. So, why do we continue to live in these miserable conditions? The answer can be summed up in a single word. Remove man, and the root cause of our overwork and hunger would be removed forever. Man is the only animal that consumes without producing, and yet he is king of all the other animals. Our labor works the fields. Our dung fertilizes them, and yet there is not one of us that owns more than our bare skin. What are we to do? Work night and day, body and soul, for the overthrow of the human race. That is my message to you, comrades. Rebellion! This resolution must not falter. No argument must lead us astray. And remember, when we are fighting man, we must not come to resemble him. Even when he is conquered, we must not adopt his vices. No animal must live in a house or sleep in a bed, wear clothes, drink alcohol, touch money, or engage in trade. And, comrades, above all, no animal must ever kill another animal. All animals are equal! Now, comrades, I will tell you of my dream I had last night. When I was a little pig, my mother and the other sows would sing to me a song of which they only knew the tune and the night later, old Major died in his sleep.
And his body was buried at the foot of the orchard.
During the next 3 months, there was much secret activity on the farm. Old Major's speech had motivated the more intelligent animals to prepare for revolution.
The work of teaching and organizing fell naturally on the pigs.
Who were generally recognized as being much cleverer than the other animals.
This way, comrades.
At the forefront were two young boars named Napoleon and Snowball.
Not all at once, comrades, or Jones will see us.
Snowball was more vivacious than Napoleon, quicker in speech and more inventive.
but was not considered to have the same depth of character.
The pigs held many meetings in the big shed and elaborated old Major's speech into a complete system of thought.
Animalism.
Animalism.
At first, they were met with much apathy and stupidity from the other animals.
The Jones speaks up. If it
If
won't
we
be, we
start
start
today.
Well, when we are dead, why should we care about what happens?
But the stupidest question of all came from Molly, the white mare that pulled Jones's cart.
Will there still be sugar after rebellion?
Absolutely not.
We can't make sugar on this farm, and we'll never buy it from the humans. But you can have all the oats you need.
And can I still wear ribbons in my mane?
Molly! Those ribbons you wear are the chains of slavery. Can you not understand that liberty is worth more than ribbons?
I suppose so.
The most faithful disciples of the pig's teachings were the two cart horses, Boxer and Clover.
Boxer was as strong as two ordinary horses put together, and though he lacked any first-rate intelligence,
A white stripe down his nose gave him a somewhat stupid appearance.
he was universally respected for his steadiness of character and tremendous power of work.
Clover was a stout, motherly man, approaching middle life.
Who hadn't quite got her figure back after a fourth fall.
Both were unfailing in their attendance of the secret meetings.
Clover, beans, and wheat, and barley shall be ours upon that day. Clover, beans, and wheat, and barley shall be ours upon that day.
As it turned out, the rebellion was achieved much earlier and more easily than expected.
One midsummer's day on a Saturday, Mr. Jones went out to town and got so drunk that he didn't return until late Sunday.
When that evening came, the animals hadn't been fed for 2 days.
One of the cows broke down the door of the food shed with her horns, and all the animals began to help themselves.
Get out of it! Go and get out of it, you feral animals! I'll whip you to death! Oh, I said, get out of it!
Get him.
Peace! What the hell?
Better farmers out! Comrades, from now on, we will refer to this farm as Animal Farm. Bits, spurs, reins, halters, throw them all down, comrades. Whips, blinkers, nose bags, burn the lot. Every last trace of Jones.
The animals couldn't believe their good fortune.
At dawn the next day, the animals raised up to a little knoll that commanded a view of the entire farm.
Never had the sun shone so bright.
Never had the air been so clear. Never had the morning dew tasted so sweet.
It's ours, Boxer. Everything you can see. Tell me this isn't a dream. Did it really just happen?
Yes, Clover, it really happened.
There was one animal who was not impressed. The oldest animal of the farm, Benjamin the donkey.
What's the matter, Benjamin? Aren't you happy?
There's nothing to be happy about.
Of course there is.
There are these flies. God has given me a tail to keep these flies off, but I'd sooner have no tail and no flies.
Never mind the flies.
now, including everything that's on it.
Yes, comrades, to the farmhouse.
The animals tiptoed from room to room, afraid to speak and gazing in awe at the unbelievable luxury that surrounded them.
The beds with feather mattresses.
The looking glass. The horsehair sofa.
An ornate mirror sitting on the mantelpiece.
And a ham hanging in the kitchen.
That was taken out for burial. Molly! Have you no respect for the dead?
Sorry.
The animals gathered into the big shed when Napoleon and Snowball had made some preparations on the wall.
Comrades, it's already 6:30, and we have a big day ahead of us. Today, we'll make it a point of honor to get the hay harvested faster than when Jones ever could.
But before we do hear this, we pigs have been hard at work learning to read and write. We have reduced the principles of animalism to a series of 7 commandments, which you will all learn.
These commandments will become an unalterable law by which all animals on Animal Farm must follow. The 7 commandments are: number 1, whatever goes upon 2 legs is an enemy.
Enemy.
2, whatever goes upon 4 legs or has wings is a friend.
Friend.
3, no animal shall wear clothes. 4, no animal shall sleep in a bed. 5, no animal shall drink alcohol. 6, no animal shall kill another animal. 7, all animals are equal.
All animals are equal. These simple rules shall define our existence.
And now, let us make it a point of honor to get the hay harvested faster than when Jones and his men ever could. But first, let us milk the cows.
But how? We don't have any hands.
We pigs are perfectly suited for the task.
But what will happen to all the milk?
Forget about the milk. To the hay fields. Let us get into harvest.
So the animals trooped down to the hayfield. When they returned in the evening, it was noticed that the milk had disappeared.
And so the animals got on with the daily runnings of the farm.
The harvest was a great success, the biggest the farm had ever seen.
And not an animal had stolen a mouthful.
Work was hard, but every bite of food was an acute pleasure, now that it was being produced by themselves, for themselves.
And not an animal shirked away from the work.
Well, almost no one.
Why do we have to get up so early?
So we can get our work done.
Ow, I have a stone in my room.
Another one, comrade.
Ow, it really hurts.
All right, Molly. You go in, I'll do your share of the work today.
Boxer was the admiration of everyone. He had always been a hard worker, but now he seemed more like 3 horses than 1.
From morning until evening, he was pushing and pulling.
Always in the spot where the work was the hardest. As for the pigs, they did work but more directed and supervised the other animals.
With their superior intelligence, it was natural they should assume the leadership. Dia, comrade!
On Sundays, there was no work.
The animals met in the big shed for the weekly meeting.
First came the hoisting of the flag.
Comrades, this flag is green to represent the prosperous fields of Australia, and the hoof and the horn signifies the future republic of the animals, which will arise when the human race is finally overthrown.
Order! Right, first point of business, we will discuss the work of the coming week and, of course, debate any new resolutions.
Order! I propose we form a new animal committee, the Wild Comrades Re-Education Committee.
We're sick of your committees, comrade. What we need to do is focus on the education of the young.
But my committees,
Have all been a failure.
There was some truth to this.
For example, the attempt to tame the wild animals broke down almost immediately.
The cat joined the re-education committee and was very active for a short
She was seen one day sitting on the roof, talking to some finches who were just out of her reach.
No. All animals are now comrades. Any finch who chooses can come and sit on my paw. Really?
But the finches kept their distance.
Another failure. The education of the young is more important than anything that can be done for those who are already grown up. When the dogs have their litter, I will take personal responsibility for the pups.
And once weaned, the puppies were taken to a loft above the shed, and the rest of the farm soon forgot about their existence.
Meanwhile, the reading and writing classes were a great success.
By autumn, almost every animal on the farm was literate.
To some degree.
How are you getting on, Boxer?
A, B, C, D.
What comes next?
Nah, it's gone.
E, F, G.
E, F, G, H.
Very good.
I'm learning, Cliver.
Now, put them both together.
Nah, it's gone.
To assist the more challenged animals,
The sheep, ducks, and hens.
Snowball had reduced the 7 commandments to a simple maxim.
4 legs good, 2 legs bad. This comrades contains essential principles of animalism and will protect you from human influences. Sheep, first repeat.
4 legs good, 2 legs bad.
Excellent, comrades.
4 legs good, 2 legs bad.
Thank you, comrades.
4
Now
legs
let's
good, 2
go.
legs
That's
bad.
enough, comrades.
The pigs, on the other hand, could read and write perfectly.
And continued to improve themselves by reading the books they had taken from the farmhouse,
They had set up cave quarters for themselves at one end of the shed.
which was accepted as off limits to the other animals.
Why can't we go in there?
They don't want to be disturbed.
I don't agree with that. And did you hear about what happened to the miller? It was mixed into the pig's mash. And they've been collecting the apples off the ground and taking them into their rooms.
The apple should have been shared out amongst us all equally.
Morning, comrades.
Good morning, sweetheart. We were just discussing the pig.
You do not think, I hope, that we pigs are doing this out of selfishness and privilege. It has been proven by science. Science, comrades, that milk and apples contain the substances absolutely needed to keep pigs healthy. Pigs are brain workers. The whole management and organisation of the farm depends on us. It is for your sake that we drink the milk and eat the apples. Do you know what would happen if we pigs mess up? Jones would come back. Yes, surely there are none amongst us who wants to see Jones back. Exactly.
I think I speak for everyone when I say we do not want to see Jones or his men return.
Then it is decided then. You will have first pick of everything you need to prevent that from happening.
Excellent, comrade. I like the way you think. The milk and the apples shall go to the pigs. For the good of the farm, of course. In early January, the news of what had happened at Animal Farm had already spread halfway across the country.
Each day, Napoleon and Snowball sent up fighting magpies whose job it was to spread the story of rebellion and to teach the other animals the truth and the use of trade.
And when the humans heard it, they secretly trembled, hearing in it the prophecy of their future doom.
In autumn, Jones and the neighbouring farmers had decided enough was enough.
What the? Jones and his men are heading up the path. They're carrying sticks and clubs and Jones has his gun. Let's go outside and say we're sorry.
Hey, Molly, are you mad? We must find Napoleon and Snowball. They'll know what to do.
The attack had long been expected, and all preparations had been made.
Jones is on the way.
Snowball, who read a book on Julius Caesar's war campaigns and prepared farms and fences.
Come on, men, let's get the bastard!
Magpies, attack!
35 charge. Now have the men and switch them.
Simultaneously, the geese came out from the hedge and pecked viciously at the men's legs.
This, however, was only intended as a distraction, and Snowball quickly released his second line of attack. Sheep, cows, charge! Retreat!
We've got him on the run.
Come on, men.
Chase the bastards to the farmhouse.
This was exactly as Snowball had intended. As soon as the men entered the yard, the other animals who had been lying in wait sprang the ambush. Charge!
Peace! There was an animal farm that didn't take my vengeance! Charge! Peace! What's the matter, comrade?
He is dead. I had no intention of doing that.
No sentimentality, comrade. War is war. The only good human is a dead one.
I had no wish to take life, not even a human life.
Where is Molly?
Find her. All animals have fought bravely and equally, and it is now our job to help those hurt in the battle.
It had been feared the men might have harmed Molly in some way, but the animals soon discovered her, with her head buried beneath the war bag.
Molly,
I didn't do it. Don't hurt me. I'll do anything.
Molly, the battle is over. We won. Jones and his men are gone forever.
Oh.
We were successful.
What? Please tell me Jones is coming back.
No, Molly. Jones and his men are not coming back.
Did we manage to get back any of the sugar? Or my ribbons? Jones used to let me wear ribbons.
Comrades, the battle is over!
It has been unanimously decided to create the decoration of Animal Hero First Class to award the bravery of two very special animals, Snowball and Boxer. Animal Hero Second Class will also be given posthumously to the dead sheep.
Comrades, from now on, we will refer to this day as the day of the Battle of the Cowshed. We will set Jones's gun at the foot of the flag and fire it twice a year. Once on the anniversary of the Battle of the Cowshed, and once on the anniversary of the rebellion!
And so, work resumed on the farm.
Fresh from their recent victory, the animals were more enthusiastic about their work than ever.
But as winter grew on, Molly became more and more troublesome.
Sorry I'm late, everyone. Sorry, Benjamin.
That's every day this week.
Would you believe it? I overslept again. And I've got this strange pain
Where?
in my poop.
You're not living.
Oh no, sorry, in my thing. Oh, I just forgot I've got to go check something.
And she would go off to the drinking pool and gaze at herself foolishly in the reflection on the water.
But there are rumors of something more serious.
Hey, here, horsey, horsey, horsey.
I'm not supposed to talk to you.
Oh, come on. You're a pretty little horse, aren't you? Very pretty.
Yes, I am.
I bet you like sugar, don't you? Why don't you come over here? That's it. Good girl. Would you like a pretty ribbon too? Good girl. Very pretty. Ooh, better go.
Why were you letting Mrs. Pilkington stroke your nose?
She didn't. I wasn't. It isn't true.
It's all the same to me. I don't really care. But she was definitely stroking your nose.
It isn't true.
3 days later, Molly disappeared.
For weeks, her whereabouts was unknown, until one day, the pigeons reported seeing her pulling a red cart for a red-faced sweaty man on the other side of town, a scarlet ribbon in her hair.
fields must be prepared for cabbages.
The lower fields are good for nothing but roots.
Each had their own following, and there was some violent debates.
You are mistaken, comrade!
And you, comrade, are talking a load of crap.
Snowball often won over the majority with his brilliant speeches.
But Napoleon was better at canvassing support in between times, especially with the sheep.
Comrades, I have many plans for innovations and improvements on Animal Farm.
Your schemes will come to nothing.
What do you propose instead then, comrade?
I have no interest in discussing this with you.
You have not understood my vision, comrade. It makes perfect sense. All I'm proposing is that each animal drops their dung precisely in a different spot. In a different spot in the fields each day. Imagine how much easier our labor would be. Who would not support such a scheme? Comrades, order! My dung dropping scheme demands a proper hearing.
It's just as I said. He's talking crap.
But nothing caused more disagreement than the wind.
Comrades, picture this. The future of Animal Farm. Each store with its own electric light and heating. Imagine how much easier our lives would be if we had our own electric saw, chaff cutter, electric shearing machine. I have a plan to create a windmill on our farm that can make all this possible.
Put all thoughts of this childish windmill aside. Our priority is to increase food production.
The windmill is our priority. I have surveyed the ground at the knoll and discovered that it would be the best place for our windmill, which could operate a dynamo and supply the farm with power.
And within a couple of weeks, hour after hour, Snowball had worked tirelessly on his plans, and within that time, much to the excitement of the other animals, they were completed.
With a piece of chalk between his knuckles, Snowball had drawn out a set of complicated diagrams that took up half the floor.
The other animals found it unintelligible, but still very impressive.
Comrades, I give you the windmill. No more hours of extra hard labor. Imagine how much easier our lives would be. Imagine, comrades, a 3-day working week!
The farm was utterly divided on the subject of the windmill, and formed itself into 2 factions.
Vote for Snowball and the 3-day week! Vote for Napoleon and more food! Cooperation, comrades. Unity. Building this windmill will make us the leading farm of the future.
Vote for
Snowball!
If we build this windmill, we'll starve to death.
Vote for Napoleon!
At last, the day of the decision had arrived, and all the animals assembled into the big shed.
Comrades, it is now time to vote on the windmill. Listen very carefully to the arguments.
Snowball made an eloquent and persuasive speech, and in glowing sentences painted a picture of Animal Farm's glorious future.
A future. Comrades, thanks to our beloved windmill, no toil and struggle, but instead of leisure and comfort, hot and cold water, heating in the windmill. It's now time to vote, comrades. Vote yes to the windmill.
Comrade Napoleon,
This windmill is nonsense, and nobody must vote for it.
Is that all, comrade? You have nothing better to say than that. Well then, I guess your decision is clear, is it not? You may begin your vote.
From now on, these Sunday meetings will come to an end. They're useless and a complete waste of our time. From now on, all questions regarding the animal farm will be settled by a special committee of pigs, headed by myself.
But Comrade Napoleon, I must protest.
This meeting is adjourned.
Snowball, who we now know, was no better than a criminal.
What do you mean? Snowball fought bravely at the Battle of the Cowshed.
Bravery is not enough. One mistake, comrades, and our enemies would be upon us. Surely, you do not want to see Jones back.
Holding debates on a Sunday morning are likely to bring him back, then they must be stopped.
That's the spirit. I like your thinking a lot, Boxer.
From then on, Boxer adopted a new motto
Comrade Napoleon is always right.
to go along with his private motto of
I will work hard.
on the third day after the expulsion of Snowball, the animals were somewhat surprised to hear Napoleon announce.
Construction of the windmill will begin tomorrow at dawn. This will mean very hard extra work, and it may be necessary to reduce your rations. Construction is expected to take 2 years.
But Comrade Napoleon, we thought you said the windmill was childish. We were persuaded by
Do not say his name! Any other questions?
This meeting is adjourned.
Comrades, a quick word. Tactics. I hope none of you doubt, even for a minute, the decisions of Comrade Napoleon. He is brave and strong. He is smart and decisive. He merely pretended to oppose the windmill to get rid of Snowball. But who we now know was a very dangerous character of a bad influence. Tactics, comrades. Tactics. Tactics, comrades. Tactics.
Let the work begin.
All that year, the animals worked like slaves, carting steel and timber up the hill to the windmill.
From now on, you'll all work Sunday afternoons as well.
This work is strictly voluntary, of course.
But any animal which refuses will have his rations cut in half.
Gee up, comrades!
The completion of the windmill is of the utmost importance.
Nothing could have been achieved were it not for Boxer, whose strength seemed that of all the other animals put together.
I will work harder.
Don't strain yourself.
From now on, I will get the cockerel to wake me up 3/4 of an hour earlier.
Comrades,
Tools down!
from now on, Animal Farm will engage in trade with our neighbours.
Not for any commercial purpose, of course, but in order to contain the materials absolutely necessary to complete the windmill.
To engage in trade with humans, it's strictly forbidden.
It's not written anywhere. The needs of my windmill must override everything else.
It was about this time that the pigs moved into the farmhouse.
That does it, Boxer. Come with me. Benjamin, where are you? I know there was definitely a commandment about sleeping in bed.
Remember, Clover, Comrade Napoleon is always right.
Oh, Boxer! Sometimes you can be so stupid.
It says, no animal shall sleep in a bed.
There! I knew it. We must tell all the other animals at once.
With sheets.
What?
That's what it says.
Come on, Clover. Leave it alone, Clover. Why do you want to cause trouble? You know, it says that... No, it's gone.
Just don't, Boxer. I know what I heard. I know what we agreed. That no animal shall sleep in a bed.
Why not? There was never any rule against sleeping in the bed. The rule has always been against the sheets, which are a human invention. We pigs have removed the sheets and sleep in between the blankets. If we don't get a comfortable night's sleep, Jones will come back. Surely you do not want to see Jones back.
No, we don't want Jones back.
That's the spirit. Tactics, comrades, tactics.
And after that, no more was said about the beds.
And
And when it was announced that some days later the pigs would wake up 1 hour after the rest of the animals, no complaint was made about that either.
By late autumn, the windmill was almost half built. The animals were tired, but happy.
And Roxo would even come out at night for an hour or two and work on it by the light of the harvest moon.
I know it's hard work, but we're not really bad here. Are we, Boxer?
No.
Better than in Jones's day?
The animals were in awe of the windmill and were thrilled that they were responsible for something so imposing and clever.
But one night, a fierce storm struck.
Winds raised so hard that the farm village rocked on their foundation, and the shed nearly lost its grip.
The next morning, a terrible sight met their eyes.
The windmill was in ruins! Maybe we didn't do it strongly enough.
Comrades, do you know who is responsible for this? Snowball! This traitor has crept in here under the cover of night and destroyed our work of almost a year. I hereby pronounce the death sentence on Snowball. Any animal who brings him to justice will be given the certificate of Animal Hero Second Class. No more Snowball, no more problems.
And now, comrades, we must rebuild our windmill as a sign of strength and solidarity.
I will work harder.
I believe in one thing, the strength of our animal spirit. Long live Animal Farm!
Long live Animal Farm!
The weeks turned into months, and a cold winter came around.
An unfortunate business, but comrades, I have some terrible news. Snowball was Jones's secret agent all this time. Did we not see for ourselves how he tried to get us defeated at the Battle of the Cowshed?
I don't believe that. Snowball fought bravely at the Battle of the Cowshed. Did we not give him Animal Hero First Class?
It was all a mistake, comrade, but we now know, it's written down in secret documents that we have found, that in reality he was trying to kill us. I would show you this in writing, but of course, you cannot read.
Yes, but
Do you not remember, at that exact moment when panic had spread across the farm and all seemed lost, that Comrade Napoleon leapt forward with his cry of death to humanity and bit the shit out of Jones's leg?
well,
Surely you are not so stupid to think that.
I don't believe that Snowball was a traitor from the start. All right, what he did since, he's not good, but at the Battle of the Cowshed, I believe that Snowball was a good comrade.
Our leader has stated categorically, comrade, that Snowball was Jones's secret agent from the very beginning.
Ah. Well, if Comrade Napoleon says it, then it must be right.
That's the spirit. And one more thing. I want every animal on this farm to keep their
This goat is a traitor. He's been speaking with Frederick. I now call upon any other animal that wishes to confess their crime.
Next, King the Hen.
They stated that Snowball had appeared to them in a dream, inciting them to disobey Napoleon.
They too were slaughtered.
Then, a good place.
And were slain on the spot.
And a sheep.
Until there was a pile of corpses lying in Napoleon's tombs.
The air was thick with blood.
Which have been unknown since the time of Jones.
The remaining animals, except the pigs and dogs, crept away.
They did not know which was more shocking, the treachery of the animals who had believed themselves in Snowball,
Or the cruel retribution they had just witnessed.
Is it possible? Until today, no animal has ever killed another animal.
I cannot believe that something like this happened on our farm. It must be through some fault of our own.
This has nothing to do with us.
From now on, I shall get up 1 hour earlier in the mornings. It is the only solution.
The animals huddled around Clover, afraid to speak.
The knoll where they were lying gave them a wide view of the countryside and most of Animal Farm.
From the hay fields to the drinking pool, to the plough fields where the young wheat grew thick and green.
It was a cool, clear spring evening. The grass and the hedges were gilded by the brilliant light of the late afternoon sun.
We had never seen such a desirable place.
This is not. All our work to overthrow Jones. Now, terror and slaughter on our own farm. It is not for this we built the windmill or stood in front of Jones's guns. This is not what we have suffered for.
Get rid of man only, and the produce will become yours overnight. Almost straight away, we will become rich and free. Fix your eyes on that, comrades, for the short remainder of your lives.
East of Australia. Peace of Australia. Peace of every land and clime. Hearken to our joyful tidings of the
folks, there'll be a 15-minute interval. Please feel free to grab yourself a drink.
A few days later, some of the animals remembered,
Or thought they remembered.
that the sixth commandment decreed,
No animal shall kill any other animal. Benjamin, read the sixth commandment.
Donkeys live a long time. No one has ever seen a dead donkey.
Benjamin, just read it.
It says, all animals shall not kill another animal without cause. That's what it says.
Then the commandment has not been broken. The animals that were put to death were in league with Snowball. Everything is as it should be.
Back to work! Throughout the following year, the animals worked harder than ever to rebuild the windmill.
Sometimes it seemed they worked longer hours and fed less than in Jonah's day.
But when it was completed,
It appeared even more beautiful in their eyes than it had when it had been built the first time.
with walls twice as thick,
Napoleon hadn't been seen for several days.
It had been rumoured he'd been negotiating trade deals with the two neighbouring farmers, Mr. Frederick and Mrs. Pilkington.
over the sale of valuable timber discovered on animal farms.
I'm selling the timber to Pilkington. Frederick is a lowlife and not to be trusted.
Death to Frederick!
Change of plans. I'm selling the timber to Frederick. Pilkington was a lowlife and not to be trusted.
Death to Pilkington!
A stroke of genius by our leader, comrades. He merely pretended to be in agreement with Pilkington to force Frederick to pay more for timber. Isn't our leader clever? On the day that the money arrived, Napoleon proudly called a meeting for the animals to inspect it.
The animals filed past the money in full.
As Frederick carted the timber away at high speed.
Go on, comrades, smell it. That's real money. Give thanks to our leader.
Thank you, Comrade Napoleon.
But 3 days later, Napoleon got some bad news.
That dirty, lying, vile piece of dung!
It appears, comrades, that we have a bit of an issue. The banknotes were forgeries. We have been betrayed.
I hereby pronounce the death sentence on Frederick. When he's captured, he's to be boiled alive! Death to Frederick!
And now, comrades, we must prepare for battle. He will come and he will try to destroy us. Send out sentry squads on all approaches to the farm.
And send out magpies to say sorry to Pilkington.
The next morning, the attack came.
15 men with guns.
Comrades, you remember the Battle of the Cowshed. You remember the bravery of Comrade Napoleon. Long live Animal Farm! Off you go!
comrades, charge!
Frederick and his men open fire.
Any news from Pilkington?
Yes, we told us to tell you that.
It serves you right!
Death to Pilkington! Death to Frederick!
The men are gathering around the window. We're going to knock it down.
Impossible! We've built the walls too thick!
Why are they doing a hole in the window?
What so?
What?
Can't you see what they're doing? They're going to pack the windmill full of explosives. They're going to blow it up.
Courage, comrades! We've built the walls too thick! She'll hold! There's no doubt!
It's gone.
The windmill, it's gone.
But at this sight, the animals felt their courage returning.
The fear and despair they felt just a moment earlier was now overtaken by burning rage. for this vile and contemptible act.
Peace! Peace! Peace!
The cowardly enemy had had enough!
Peace! Peace! Peace!
A cow, a sheep, and 2 geese were killed.
And the windmill was shattered into 1,000 pieces.
It's like it never was.
So what? Build another one. Oh, it's just a bloody windmill. We can build 20 windmills if we want to. You just don't get it, do you? We've won. Thanks to the bravery and direction of Comrade Napoleon, we have won.
So we've won back what we had before.
Yes, and that is our victory.
Boxer, you're hurt.
It's nothing, it's just a cut.
They've shot pellets into your leg. You'll have to rest it now.
Comrades, I'm here today to personally congratulate you on your defense of Animal Farm. It is truly a great day, and from now on shall be known as the day of the Battle of the Windmill. In honor of this occasion, I have created a new honor, a green ribbon, which I have dedicated to myself.
Long live Comrade Napoleon.
A few days later, the pigs discovered a crate hidden in the farmhouse.
They broke it open and found bottles of brown-colored liquid.
That night, the animals heard from the farmhouse the distinct sound of singing.
Peace
Australia.
Australia! Comrade Napoleon!
The next morning, a deathly silence surrounded the farmhouse.
And not a pig stirred until well after 9 a.m. Comrades, I have some terrible news. Comrade Napoleon is dying. Yes, it is true. Our fearless leader is on his deathbed. Oh, and as his last act, he has passed a solemn decree. The consumption of alcohol is to be punished by death. Oh, jeez, I think I need to lie down.
What? Comrade Napoleon is dying.
It can't be true.
Jones will come back!
That evening, Napoleon seemed somewhat better.
He is well on the way to recovery. By the evening of that day, Napoleon was back at work.
Oh, and Squealer, don't forget the books on brewing and distilling.
Comrades, can't stop. New order. That back paddock behind the orchard. Loud out, will you?
The back case for our retirement.
Yeah, well, Comrade Napoleon now wants to start with barley, alright? Barley, barley, barley.
Why barley?
Because Comrade Napoleon said so, alright? Your brains are all fine!
That night, something very strange happened.
Something so strange that none of the animals could quite explain it.
Several days later, the animals just happened to be reading the Board of Commandments when they thought they noticed something was different.
What does it say, Benjamin?
It says, no animal shall drink alcohol to excess. That's what it says.
The day after the victory celebrations ended, work began on rebuilding the windmill.
Fox's hoof was a long time healing, but he refused to take even a day off work.
But in the evening,
Boxer, what's wrong?
It's my hoof.
You need to rest it.
Work too hard. There's just simply no point.
A horse's lungs don't last forever.
And
need to finish the windmill before my retirement.
Animal Farm was declared a republic, and it was necessary to elect a president, of which there was only one candidate.
Long live Comrade Napoleon! Needless to say, Napoleon was elected unanimously.
By late winter, Fox's hoof had healed, and he worked harder than ever.
Sometimes it seemed the insufficient food and increasing workload would be too much to bear. But Boxer never faltered.
In nothing that he said or did was there any sign that his strength was gone.
But he was aging quickly, and his great haunches seemed to have shrunken.
He'll pick up when spring grass grows.
I hope you're right, Benjamin.
But Boxer grew no fatter.
Sometimes, on the slope leading up to the quarry, it seemed as if the only thing holding him up was the will to continue.
I will work harder.
But late one evening,
Boxer has fallen. He's fallen on his side, but he can't get up.
Boxer, no!
There lay Boxer, between the shafts of the cart, matted with sweat, a thin stream of blood trickling out of his mouth.
Boxer, are you all right?
It's my lung. It's gone. It's not to worry. You should be able to finish the windmill without me. There's a good store of timber. There's only a month away from my retirement anyway.
It's all right. You just need rest. Let's get inside.
You know, I'm only to retire anyway. Benjamin, you're close to retirement age too. Maybe they let us retire together.
Come on, let's go.
Get up!
I'll get help.
Boxer, get up! Boxer, you need to try. Come on, up! Boxer, please! Boxer! Boxer, try! Please, try! Please! Boxer, please! Boxer! Just need to try. Please!
He's over here.
All right, get up.
Get up! He can't hear you.
Of course. Don't worry, Boxer. We'll fix you right up. Get you the best medical attention money can buy. Comrade Napoleon sends his wishes and regards. He is currently organising you transport to a very special horse hospital.
No hospital. He just needs rest.
Well, if all he can do is rest, he may as well do it somewhere else. Do you want him to get better?
Yes!
Then, hospital it is.
No hospital, Benjamin.
For the next 2 days, Boxer remained in his stall.
The pigs had sent out a large bottle of pig medicine that they had found in the bathroom.
And Clover administered it to him twice a day after meals.
whilst Benjamin kept the flies off him.
How are you feeling better? Are you feeling better, Boxer?
Yes. You know, I'm not sorry this happened. My retirement project will be to learn the remaining 22 letters of the alphabet.
Of course. And we'll help you. Won't we, Benjamin?
Every evening.
I'm doing well, you know.
Comrades, it was not possible to bring Boxer's remains back to the farm. But I have had a large wreath to be made and placed on his grave. I would like to remind you all of two of Boxer's favourite maxims. I will work harder, and our leader is always right. These are thoughts you would do well adopting as your own.
Tell them the best part.
Oh, in honor of a brave friend, we will have a memorial banquet tonight to honor him and remember his kind and generous nature.
Thank you, Comrade Napoleon.
Boxer would appreciate that.
What time shall we all meet?
Well, you see, when Napoleon says that we would meet for a banquet, he meant we, the pigs. Surely you did not think that we would all eat in the farmhouse. Oh, no. There is simply not enough room. And besides, it is so neat and tidy. You would all just mess it up.
And so, on the day set aside for the great banquet, another van arrived with a delivery from the farmhouse, and not a peep was heard from the pigs until well afternoon.
And word went round that from somewhere or another, the pigs had found themselves more money for another crate of whiskey.
The years passed.
The seasons came and went. The short animal lives fled by. Jones was dead, and Boxer and Snowball soon forgotten.
Except by the few who had known them.
Life on the farm remained much the same.
It had grown richer, but with none of the animals getting richer.
Except, of course, for the pigs and the dogs.
Perhaps this was because there were so many pigs and so many dogs.
But the animals never gave up hope. Nor did they
Not even for a moment.
lose their sense of privilege of being members on Animal Farm.
The only farm in the entire country owned and operated by animals.
Long live Animal Farm!
Clover was now a stout old man, stiff in the joints.
But Benjamin was much the same, except for being a little grey around the muzzle. And since Boxer's death, more morose than ever.
Do you remember, Benjamin, when we forced Jones from the farm?
Of course.
It's all fading from my mind now. But when I look around the farm, when I look at our windmill, I remember Boxer. I still miss him.
Mustn't speak of him.
Are we better off now than in Jones's day? I can't remember.
We are no better or no worse. Everything stays the same. Hunger, hardship, and disappointment.
But if we are hungry, at least it's not from feeding a human. And if we work hard, it's for ourselves. No animal goes on two legs. No animal calls another animal master. All animals are equal. It's worth living for, isn't it?
On a pleasant evening, 3 nights
Hey. Benjamin, my eyesight is fading. But even in my younger days, I could not have read what was written here. But look, it seems to me the commandments have changed. Tell me, Benjamin, are the 7 commandments still the same?
No.
What does it say?
Well, there's only one commandment now. It says, all animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others.
And after that, it did not seem strange that the next day the pigs carried whips in their trotters when supervising work.
And it did not seem strange that the pigs had bought themselves a phone.
Or taken out subscriptions to the Australian.
It did not even seem strange that Napoleon was seen strolling around the farmhouse in Jones's clothes.
A week later, Napoleon invited the neighbouring farmers to come and inspect the property.
As the men made their way around their farm, the animals didn't pause in their work for even a second, too terrified to sneak a glance at the humans.
It was not clear whether the animals were more scared of the farmers or the pigs.
That night, singing and bursts of laughter was heard from the farmhouse, and the animals silently tiptoed into the farmhouse garden.
And peeked into the window.
There, sitting around the dining room table, was Mrs. Pilkington, half a dozen farmers, half a dozen of the more eminent pigs, and Napoleon himself, seated at the head of the table.
On behalf of all of us here, it brings us a source of great satisfaction to know that a long period of mistrust and misunderstanding has come to an end.
Hear him!
After inspecting your farm today, what did we find? An example to our own farms and farmers everywhere. I think I'm correct in saying that the lower animals on Animal Farm do more work for less than any other animal in the country. Between pigs and humans, there is no clash of interest whatsoever. Are not leg problems the same everywhere? If you have your lower animals to contend with, we have our lower class. Gentlemen, I give your toast to the prosperity of Animal Farm.
I too am happy that our misunderstandings have come to an end. Our sole wish now, as it always has been, is to live in peace and with normal business relations with our neighbours. I do have one criticism of your otherwise excellent speech. You referred to our farm as the Animal Farm. That name is now abolished. From now on, we shall be known as the Manor Farm, which is our proper and original name. So, gentlemen, I give you the same toast as before, but in a different form. Fill your glasses to the brim. To the prosperity of the Manor Farm!
To the Manor Farm!
Something strange suddenly began to happen. What was it that had altered in the faces of the pigs? Some had 5 chins, some 4, some 3, but something else was different. What was it that was melting and changing? 12 voices were shouting in anger now, and once more peering through the farmhouse window, there was no doubt in the minds of the animals about what had happened to the faces of the pigs. Clover